Good day, everyone. This is Dr. David Phelps of the Freedom Founders Mastermind Community and Dentist Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Today, my guest is Mr. Ben Glass. Ben, how are you, sir?
Good morning, David. Well, we're cold up here in the DC area, probably colder than where you are, but we're getting through January. But I'm great myself.
Making it through. Good deal. Good deal. Well, for our listeners, Ben is not a dentist, and that's on purpose today. Probably a purpose in his own life as well. I don't know if you ever had some choices to make, but Ben went.
Good at science. I was not a scientist.
Oh goodness. Ben and I have known each other for a good number of years, and I have full respect for Ben. And the reason I wanted to have him here today is because, like so many of us that are, getting that gray and salt and pepper hair, we learn a lot in life, and if we're willing to look at some of the lessons we've learned, and through our families, through the communities that we serve, through other business owners that we've had the privilege and blessing to help, there's a lot of similarities. And I know your passion about life, Ben, is so great. I'm going to give people a little bit of your background because they'll appreciate this. But Ben not only has a law practice, has had for many years, but among many things, he also helps other attorneys and lawyers with their practices, but not just with the practice, but with also blending who Ben is. Ben is about life and building businesses and doing things on purpose with intention, so that you can actually have a life to live. Ben is also the author. I'm holding it up. You're listening to us, so you're not seeing this, but I'm holding up one of his many books. This most recent one, Play Left Fullback. We'll talk a little bit about that today. But just to give you a little bit of a background on Ben, he's, among many things, he's also the father of 9. Yeah, count it, 9 children. I mean, right there, Ben, that's amazing. You and your wife, so blessed, but 4 of them were adopted from China. You are, as I said earlier, very much a small business advocate, specializing in your arena, the legal field, but we love small businesses, nonprofit and charity supporter, a soccer referee, which also is going to be part of your next book, because all the lessons you've learned there in refereeing in those games and other people's kids, in addition to being one of the top reviewed attorneys in the area, in Annandale, DC area, Virginia. Serves on the board of directors, longtime supporter of Love Without Boundaries, international charity that provides hope and healing to orphan and vulnerable children. I'm just flipping through some of your amazing feats here, Ben. You've got your firm, your company that helps other lawyers, the Ben Glass Center for Growth and Innovation. You graduated in 1983. That's the same year I graduated from dental school, so we're like right on track here. 83 from George Mason University School of Law. You attended William and Mary for undergraduate work. You focus your practice on personal injury, medical malpractice, ERISA, private disability, insurance law. You've also really become, I think, to many people, a life coach. So let's take all the things that you are, Ben, and what your life passion is, and blend that together. What do you feel like with all the things you do and have done, what is your real purpose today? What do you love to focus on? And just, so I want to know, who is Ben Glass today, with everything you've done, with all the life lessons through your family and the community and the practice and the many small business owners that you've helped? Who are you today, and where are you going, Ben? What's your future thinking about how you want to continue to have impact in the world and the places and with the people you love to serve?
It's a really great question, David, and thanks for having me on. So next month, so in February, I'll be 63. And I'm loving what I do. So I get to do really, really interesting work, both in the law practice, and that's shifted the work I do. So we can talk about that. Working in the coaching business, that is shifting. But I always say, look, I'm dad to 9, entrepreneur, soccer referee. Sandy and I will celebrate 40 years of marriage this June. And I fully acknowledge and realize and gratified and give gratitude for the fact that it's good. Like, I wake up every morning pretty excited about the day. I do CrossFit. I get to, my favorite place to be would be on a soccer field with a crowd, with a rivalry high school game. Like like that beats all. And then I need 3 days to recover from the physical side of that. So I'm leading a cool operation here at the law firm. My son joined me in the practice a couple of years ago, Brian. He's a very good lawyer, and as we were saying before we went live, he brings some talents in terms of financial and spreadsheets and stuff that's not me. Like, I'm the visionary. I can see marketing. I see the world through the eyes of the consumer, right? Who maybe is in need of legal services. And that's the niche I've carved out in the coaching world, is just reinforcing, like, what is that whole experience like? And how can we lawyers like eliminate the friction there? Because people are going online to buy cars in 15 minutes, and some professions still make it, and lawyers are famous for this, still make it really hard, like, to deal with us. So that's where I am. We have only 2 kids at home now. My youngest turned 19, and but it got crowded when they were all home. I have 3 in college. They were home from Thanksgiving until like last weekend. There's a lot of moving parts. I'm ready to spend some time with Sandy, some quiet time.
Let me
But
ask you,
I have 5 grandkids too, and I'm ready to go back to the little league fields and the soccer fields with them as well.
So Ben, so many of us have difficulty, just keeping up with all that we think we need to keep up with. And I think we tend to limit our options early in life. At least I can think back, when I got started, I didn't have 9 kids, so I can't even relate, except just, to bow to you and Sandy and just say, my goodness, I mean, what a blessing. God doesn't give us more than we can handle. And he looked at you two and said, I'm going to give you 9 kids to raise. But when you're early in your career, it's getting out of school and you're starting life, and maybe you're getting married and young family, there's a tendency, to focus on, the expertise and the degree and the license, in this case, to go practice and do our thing, right? So we really focus and channel in. How did you obviously you're a very curious person, the curiosity about other things and people and looking at things at different standpoints. You're a visionary, as you said, but how were you able to keep different channels open and pursue different things while, the hardest part is just, generating enough capital to pay the business and the debts of the business you're getting started and the family. How do you relate to young people today if you're talking to them about how to live a life with purpose and intention and not get kind of into this rut that so many people get into?
Yeah. Okay. So the most important thing is this is something that can be learned, right? So you just described it exactly. You get out of the professional school, whatever it is for most of us, and you're never even introduced to these other alleys of entrepreneurism, of giving yourself permission to not climb that ladder, the specific ladder of the profession. And I was there. I was absolutely there until I started my own practice, right? And that came because I was coaching 3 soccer teams and my commute was too long, and I was a pretty good lawyer. And I said, how hard could it be to run a law practice? I mean, I'm good. I'm
Right.
good at the doing of the thing. And then, of course, little did I know, like all of the other things that you have to be good at in business. And because I was curious, David, I was a subscriber for many years to the Nightingale Conant, products. I had tapes first, and then CDs, right? And Zig Ziglar and Jim Rome, and I would listen to this stuff, and I didn't even know how to apply some of it to the law. But through that, I got that letter from Dan Kennedy saying, here's magnetic marketing. Gee, how would you like to have a line of people outside your door? And when I got that product, which was the most expensive quote book, it was $300, and I didn't have much money. And I read it and I listened to it. I think what's important here for young folks particularly is I didn't understand half of what he was saying, but somehow I knew if I could figure it out, it would change my life. And so I am curious, and I'm a student, and I read 60, 70, 80 books a year with intention, like note keeping and everything. And so I just went all into going, oh my gosh, no one has ever shown me this. And in legal, we have so many rules about advertising and stuff. And I just started doing it. So the 2 big points are, 1, this is learned. So no matter where you are in your life, you can find this new alley. And David, I come across a lot of attorneys who are 50 and 60 years old, and we have actually like reinvigorated them in their love for the practice of law and for the living of life. But that's my long answer to your short question. Be curious and just know that for any problem that you think you have, there's someone out there who's solved it already. They're existing. There are no new problems in the world. The challenge is finding that person, right? And you get that, I believe, by going outside of your network, outside of, if you're a dentist, outside of dentistry, outside of law, and hanging out with entrepreneurs. That's how you and I met many years ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, so true, so true. I just, as you said, early in my career, I was very much focused on doing the thing, improving my efficiency of clinical expertise, diagnosis and treatment plan, and also trying to become a better business owner. Fortunately, back when I was doing it, there was a lot of margin and I could screw a lot of things up and still float the boat. Today, different story for a lot of reasons. And so we have to have skill sets that we didn't have to have maybe when you and I first started in practice, but are so important today. But what you just said was something, again, that I didn't appreciate until later in life. And what you said was getting outside of our specific industry, our trade association, where we focus everything because that's what we were told to do. But the entrepreneurial aspects that are, I think, within probably just about everybody to some degree, many times that gets bottled up and suppressed when we go through the rigors of the advancing our degrees set, right? And it gets suppressed. It wasn't me until I got outside. And for me, it was initially, it was with real estate people, whole different group of people that looked at life differently.
That's right.
Not that life as a dentist is a bad thing or a lawyer is a bad thing, but they looked at life differently. And I started learning and started seeing things, hearing things, and visualizing things a different way. And for me, that was my first the catalyst that said, David, there's more. Do what you're doing, do a good job, but there's more to all this. And then the psychology of human behavior and the things that I never appreciated early on in life, but that you've grown to appreciate. And as you said, reinvigorates people wherever they are in their career path to expand their insights and what they're able to do rather than just whatever has become mundane and routine. So I guess I'm getting back to the point is getting outside your group. You and I both know that there's certainly you can read a lot today, reading books, as you said. I mean, now today you can listen to podcasts, and there's lots of ways to take in information. But also there's a point where you kind of have to, again, continue to invest in yourself, pay to play, pay to find the other groups that can stimulate that thinking and stimulate the aspiration to be able to do more, to be a different person, I guess is what we have to do, right? And we get that through other people that we can say, gosh, there is more out there. So other than all the books that you read, what else inspired you to continue this pathway? Because you're in a lot of different groups, as you said. That's where we met. What inspires you to continue that path?
So a couple of things. So you said pay to play, and this is important because there's a lot of stuff that is activity masquerading as accomplishment, right? And so in the beginning, I didn't have a lot of money, right, to devote to this, but as I would go to events and meet people, like you and others who are in our circle, and I was really invigorated by their general love of life first. So most of the people, so if you're paying a lot of money to go to a group or to go to a conference, right, you're usually not the unhappy one who's paying a lot of money to travel and do that, or the unhappy one who's paying to be a member of somebody's mastermind group. I have found the people there to be happy. Okay, cool. And then the big thing they taught me was, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to live your own life and to design something that serves you, serves your family. Because David, what I teach is if the owners are good, right? They're happy. And then the people you attract to your business are good and they like the place and they like coming into work, then the clients, the patients, the customers, they're better off. And what the professions do is they kind of switch this. At least in law, everything is supposed to be self-sacrificial for the client. And we're like, no, let's build something that makes the owners happy. Again, makes the people who come to my office, like they like working here. right? They attract other people like them to come work here. When I've got a team like that, clients are really well served, better than when it's just, it was just me. So, so that's what it was for me when I just started showing up and going, wow, they're nice. Most of them are doing well in business. And the third thing I find with people who attend high-end, more expensive events is they're willing to share.
Hmm.
They don't have this closed mind
Right.
that if I know something, I'm supposed to keep it from you, even if they're in the same, specialty or the geographic area. Like I've always been a very open book. I have lawyers from Northern Virginia come here, and I'll show them. We show them we run seminars here, right? Everyone's going to have a different flavor, a different way of doing things, and as we know, most people aren't going to execute to the same level that A plus people execute. But this is what I found, is that there was a real abundance thinking that you won't find at a local kind of free meet and greet. We're going to go to Hardee's and have lunch together. I went to some of those things. No, it's not the same level.
Same as all. No, you're right. I love the book that you authored and published last year, Play Left Fullback. It's really a book about life, and there's so many great tenets here. One is chapter 5. I'm just looking at it right now. My most important belief: family first. Everything else follows from there. We typically, I raised my hand high, was the other way around early on until I had some wake up calls and things that changed my perspective. But again, especially to younger people who are maybe just getting started there early in career life, with the stresses of making enough money to pay the bills, which is where we all start out. Give them some of your wisdom and philosophy today that would help them put the family first, and not this mystical someday when I get this and this right, or this much money in the bank, or my business is doing XYZ, then I'll start living life, and then I'll start spending time with the family. That which never happens.
So I'll give you a habit, right? So the simplest habit that will improve this, and I like to say, if I followed you around for a week, you're saying, oh, family first, but if I followed you around for a week, the simplest habit would be, when you walk in the door, and I'm holding up my cell phone, is to turn that stuff off and just be present, right? We have allowed these devices to overtake our lives. So yeah, especially early in career, we're working, we're, maybe building a portfolio. Oftentimes you're working for someone else and you might not have total control over your time. Although I would say this, right? So the young lawyers and folks in business, you have their MBAs who say, look, they expect me to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. I'm like, you just haven't seen the right alley, because that's not they want you to believe that that's the way it is, but it's not. So I would give you that too. But being present and, listening, right, are skills. And I still work on this. It's not perfect. I get on the phone every couple of weeks. I have my own sort of mindset coach. Sandy has her own mindset coach, because there's a lot of moving parts in our household, right? And it's good to have somebody who's on your shoulder and in your ear telling you both, that's good. Here's another way to language that, or here's some ideas. And again, so you probably have a coach. I spend a lot of money still on coaching business. I have a mindset coach. I have someone who coaches my business and my leadership team. And of course, and I'm a part of at least 2 other groups that I can think of right now where, they're led by other sort of gurus and thought leaders. Yeah.
So you talked about in your practice, in your firm, is how you show up, and therefore how you magnetically attract the right people who also enjoy being there. They enjoy the camaraderie, and that also filters down to the clients, the people you serve from a legal standpoint. So let's talk a little bit. With all the things that you've managed, you've had to become a really good leader and a communicator. What are some of the keys to getting a lot done, or having your fingers, I guess, your impact into so many different areas, starting with family and then community, and soccer referee and helping other business smaller law firms or small businesses, grow. As you started doing this at a young age, obviously this didn't just start 10 years ago. You started doing all this at a young age. What were some of the keys to that? I mean, is it the people? Is it your attitude? Is it, how do you balance, or bad word, but how do you put all this together?
So just a couple of things. So on a personal habit level, I'm a early riser guy. So most mornings 4:40, and many mornings I'm at the gym. Kind of depends on where we are in the season and what games and stuff I'm doing. I crave that quiet time, right? Where I can think, where I can write, where I can plan. Let me just talk to you about sort of managing your leadership team here. I think the best thing we've ever done is to say to our leadership team, how much money do you want to make? And I'm talking lawyers and non-lawyers. How much money do you want to make in the next 3 to 5 years? Just tell me, be honest. I can't promise a yes, but my next question is going to be, now show me how we're going to do that. Because you know how the money flows, right? And if you want to make, as a non-lawyer, $250,000 a year working as a senior paralegal, which is an amazing salary in legal, right? Perfect. Model this. Be entrepreneurial. And so part of that then is like giving up control. And so one of the keys is learning. Here's the mindset thing, David, is I used to think I was the only one that could write a brief. I was the only one that could talk to clients. I was the only one that could, showing up in court, you do have to be a licensed lawyer. No. And my coach said, I said, nobody will ever be able to learn this. He says, well, how do we know? We haven't asked the universe yet. We haven't gone out there. And what I discovered was there's really good people. So in your business, and Dan Sullivan is teaching this. He's got a great book, Who Not How.
Right.
Which is like, oh, I need this done. We're in a worldwide economy. COVID has taught us, I don't need to be anywhere near you to have, you and I are not near each other to have this conversation. But David, if you're really good at something and you like doing it and it's something I need, we can probably do a deal for that. And so that's, getting your own ego out of the way is important. And then when you're talking to not the leadership team, but the other folks who work here, our question is always, you have to advocate for yourself, David. What do you need from leadership to get your job done better? Again, I can't promise you, I'll just say yes to everything. So early in COVID, we have single moms with kids at home. Well, all the kids were home because school wasn't in. This was going to be challenging. And at first I thought I needed to solve this. Like I need to figure this out. Wrong answer, wrong thought. David, you're your mom or the dad, you've got kids at home. You think about this, like what would be perfect for you? How could we support you? Again, I can't guarantee say yes to everything, but if I have you and Susie and Billy and Bonnie all thinking about this, that's where all the good ideas are going to come from. So I guess a lot of that, David, is just ego, right? It's ego. And many of us who run businesses, we are smart, we're curious, we've accomplished a lot, we've done a lot. And then we get stuck that, gee, nobody could do this as good as I can. That's just not true, right? So those are some of the ways that I get stuff done, and I say no to a lot. Like I do this with you because I like you, but I get pitched on a lot of stuff. And I have a little on my whiteboard, it says why, like why would I say yes to this? And, figuring out the big rocks and putting them in your plate and your calendar just makes it easier than to say no to a lot of the little stuff. And it can sound arrogant, but I think that, the world needs entrepreneurs, David. The world needs good people who are running good companies who move the needle of the world forward. I think I'm involved in that. I know that you're involved in that, right? That what wakes us up, drives us in the morning. And we are arrogant is not the right word, but it's the best word I can think of. It is a boldness that no matter what is going on politically in the world, right? Which a lot of people get distracted by, and I just don't get distracted by it. Like I can build my own castle, I can build my own universe, and it's okay to do that, right? because my employees are much better off working for me than there are most other lawyer cesspools, legal cesspools, right? And our clients are really well served because I've got a great team. Like, again, I'm not talking to all of them. You know, maybe a little different when you're in a healthcare profession. There's more hands-on, but even that, you know, like just if you're a dentist, building a business where you're attracting other experienced dentists who are good at what they do, who like what they do, but maybe they don't like the business side at all, right? But you're really good at that. And you get the clinical staff that supports the dentist, right? And you're really good at attracting them. That dentist who comes, like he or she's gonna be really happy because they don't have to deal with all the stuff that the leader has to, but they're happy, right? And so anyway, that again, that's I think the important thing for young people is just to know there's models like you and there's models like me, and you and I could point easily, we could go 20 names right now across the professions, across the occupations of guys and gals that we know who think like this, who are successful, who are running businesses that have an impact on the world, and more people are happy because of it. And so we could say, go look at, you know, so-and-so in real estate, go look at so-and-so in carpet cleaning, go look at so-and-so, you know, running an advertising company. That's what you want to do as a young person. You want to find the David Phelps and Ben Glasses of the world, and don't waste our time. Show me that if I give you some advice, you'll act on it, right? Because then I love you and I will help you. And you, I know, David, you would help people, right?
Absolutely.
That's who we're looking for. We're
Yes.
looking for the young people in the world who will go and do something, right? Break something sometimes. That's okay, right? That's who I love. I hate wasting my time.
It's boldly protecting your time, and the willingness to say no more often than you say yes, and as you said, having filters where when there's a decision to be made, which is going to potentially take your time, is this the best use of my time, and boldly guarding, judiciously, arrogantly, as you said, guarding that time, because it's like when you get on the plane, Ben. What do they say? When the oxygen masks drop down, put yours on first. If you're not protecting yourself, then you can't be the person you need to be for all the people that depend upon you for
Yes.
leadership and the impact that you want to have.
And you're making a great point, because that's why for me it's so important to have CrossFit, to have my church community, to have my soccer refereeing that brings me joy, although it stresses a lot of people out. And so, and you know, the young folks that get sucked into, right? And I mentor some, and some of my kids are married to some, right? These jobs and occupations where they're not given any space to develop spiritual, physical, mental side. That's sad. And I just try to disconnect them. I give them the courage to disconnect and go find a better place.
So the last couple of minutes here, it's always fun, is a little bit of an outset, but to talk a little bit about what you've learned and your joy, your passion for refereeing. I know you've got tons of stories and things, but what would you tell us, for those of us who are not referees? What's that world look like, and what has it taught you?
So I do it because I love the physical challenge and the psychological challenge, right? And what it's taught me, I think, is how to better respond when the temperature of a game goes up. Like, you can be the force that at least stays calm, and it's hard to do until you have, you know, a lot of confidence of doing games and dealing with people. But it's like when I'm going to deal with a coach, David, it's a slow walk, and I'm running through my head like calm, hand signals, hey, we're good. It's listening, like, okay, I understand why you're upset, or, you know, what did you see that I didn't see, or I'll explain to you what I think I saw. And I'm like, I think I'm pretty humble about that. Like, and I will often use this line with a coach, particularly in a high school game, which is, send me the video later. I'm happy to look at it. And David, here's what you have to realize. Sometimes when I look at the video, it's the exact opposite of what I thought I saw in the field at the time. And so that's what I've learned, is that smiling a lot helps. Not being, hey, I have this shirt on, so I am God and you have to obey me. Like, that's not my style at all. And And then I've used it as a tool. Again, you mentioned earlier the sort of the next book. I'm using it as a tool to help teenagers like develop confidence. You can make money, right? Doing this, you have to understand how to deal with people that are knuckleheads who are screaming at you. But I'm using it as a tool to teach life lessons about showing up, being prepared, having your uniform on, not relying on your mom and dad to wash your, your shorts before you have to go, all that stuff for young kids. And that's what I really like doing. The
Yeah.
law kind of just like supports all my other fun habits.
Well, that's a great way to look at life, right? I mean, again, have a business that supports what you really are passionate about in life, and do that business well also by having other people in the culture, leadership that you have. It's a great way to look at life, Ben. You've got so much wisdom and experience. It said the book I'm looking at today, which is one of many books that you've written, but Play Left Fullback. People can pick that up if they'd like to. Where's the best place to go?
Just go on Amazon. Yeah. And you read the chapter that explains like where the title come from, because that's a weird title for philosophy. But you're right, David. It is a philosophy book. It's written for lawyers. The subtitle is about lawyers. It is a life philosophy book, and it has gotten a great response from people who go, wow, I thought I was the only one who was even thinking of these ideas. And now I know there's more people who think that you can build as a lawyer a life that's fulfilling to you and interesting. And this means like I'll never retire, because I retire from things and people every day that I don't like dealing with. But the stuff that I find interesting and the needles that I can move in the world, like I'll still be here probably doing that in some form for a long, long time.
Ben, I know you will. And I love what you just said. I just had to write down, I retire fairly often from things and people I'm tired of. That's a great way to look at it, sir. If you ever want to retire, just look at it that way, but never fully retire. No, you're impactful. Well, Ben, you're a person that lives your life the way you speak about it. And I think people would do themselves a lot of good if they would stay in touch, follow you, pick up the book, Play Left Fullback, and stay in touch with, because Ben, you're always doing great things.
Leave a review if you think that it's it's worthy
Yes.
of helping move your life forward. Yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to talk to you, my friend. We would see each other a couple times a year at live events. Of course, that's been really curtailed in the last year or so. And I can't wait. My friends and I are craving live entrepreneur events.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ben Glass, thank you so much, sir. It's been fun
All
today.
right,